go. Oh, you need a mic, Brian. Here. Teacher. How's everybody doing? All right, let's get into some stuff. This will be a good segue, I think, from Eric and Steve. This will be great. So let's get into it here. Here we are, Q4 already. Everybody wins Christmas next week, if you didn't know. All right, so Kindle Partners is the name of our company, and then we market ourselves as Jeff Buys Your House. So we'll get into that. So we titled this The Growth Engine, How Our Disciplined Team and a Clear Process Win in Today's Markets. That's what we're going to talk about a little bit. So real quick disclosure, every time I do one of these or get a chance to do one of these, I kind of want to disclose, our business is different than yours is different than mine or our business. And so I just want to say that our marketing, our business, and our experience are different than yours. So take what you want, leave the rest. But it's not really for comparison's sake. But everybody does their own thing differently. So just proceed with caution. So a little bit about us. We started in 2007. Kevin, my business partner over here, started. Veteran owned, very proud of that. And we've been in the Chicagoland market. We call it Chicagoland. We're about 50-ish miles west of the city. So when we say Chicago, what we really mean is when you start driving west, when you hit the cornfields, there you'll find us. So hiring philosophy. So we've had a lot of success with our hiring. Glenn has really done a great job with this. I've transferred that to him, and he does it way better than I do it. And but we hire people, not resumes or even necessary real estate experience. We like experienced people. We don't love real estate experienced people, and we'll get into that in a second. We've got a sales process that we've defined. We've had some help from some folks here in the room doing that, and have really dialed that in, and we continue to tweak that as necessary. We've got a disciplined, repeatable, people-first sales process, and we're going to talk more about that. Our approach, we've got underwriting and data. We're very data-driven. If you don't pay attention to your data, if you're not using data and what you're putting into your process, I would advise that you do that, and then with AI, it makes it that much easier. And then the brand, I think a perfect segue from what Eric and Steve were talking about, the moat they talked about in building a brand. That's what we've really focused on and spent a lot of time and a lot of resources and a lot of money. And we want to talk about how the brand has influenced our sales.
Yeah, the opportunity to share today really with Eric and Steve, the presentation we put together here is meant to segue that whole set of concepts, and we're doing a lot of similar things as their company. And so I think, both presentations, hopefully you're going to see a lot of the same things. We've used some of their help as vendors over the years. Certainly appreciated their guidance as we grow as well. But we wanted to kind of take you back to a few years ago. This is 3 years ago at CG, to give some perspective.
Yeah, 3 years, 9 months ago. I used AI to do that math before I got up here. But if you look at that, so I don't know where you're at in your business journey. This is where we were at in March of 2022, standing on this stage, or actually in a room. I think we were in California or Florida at the time. But you can see on the slide what our goal was for 2022. So here we are at the end of the first quarter, working through what we wanted to accomplish. 150 sales. We wanted to purchase about 13 a month at about $27,000 average profit per deal, which is about $4 million gross. That was our goal. And then you can kind of see at the bottom there a dispo mix. So we buy all of our houses. So we've never wholesaled a property in almost 20 years. It's just been our position to the market to come out and say we're going to close. We don't need a buyer to close. We've always just purchased the house. But you can kind of see the dispo mix. I would say, in my advice to anyone in the room, depending on where you're at, is I've said this before, but the answer that you need to the question you have is in the room. Like we have, I would say humbly speaking, we have, I think, been pretty good students of learning from others that have had a better business or a stronger culture or a better process. We've just learned from them. And this next slide we're going to show it here in a second talks more about using some of the industry peers that we've got, and then really leaning in and getting really dialed in and really focused, and then not paying attention to all the stuff on the sidelines and just really getting good at the one thing, which was really our sales process. We needed a lot of help figuring out the sales funnel, the marketing funnel. We brought Eric Brewer in. Eric, you're here. We brought him in, and he had to go really, really slow. I think we're pretty good learners. But we asked him to put together a sales funnel for us. You want to show that slide? So this is what Eric, do you remember putting this together for us? So, so we have this vibe board. You know, a vibe board, you can draw on it, right, and take screenshots. So Eric goes through this. It's Kevin, Glenn, myself, Aaron, and a few others in our team going through all of this. And we're like, okay, so do it again. And so he writes it and circles it and gets a highlighter out and goes through it. And then we all look at each other and we're like, now do it again. And so he does this like 3 or 4 times. And says, guys, this is all you have to do. This is what it is. This is what you do. And it's kind of funny to look back, right? I think perspective is everything. You look back on your past and kind of have an idea of where you're at. I think closing that gap is really, really good. But I think this was imperative. And this was before you had come on, right?
This was actually like month 3 or 4, maybe.
Okay.
Yep. And then the CG slide that we had before, that was before I came on.
Yeah, right.
But
yeah.
This was like my infancy stage coming into the business.
So what did you think about this in 2022?
Well, so this slide is essentially like, this was like 8 hours of Eric, like, okay, boys, like what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the house with an appointment. And we're like, what? I mean, we were doing virtual, we were doing a blended version of what we call sales now at this point. It was very oriented to PPL marketing.
Yeah.
We didn't really know what we were converting.
Unbranded.
A lot of unbranded, yes. And I know a lot of you have taken that journey as well, the unbranded to the branded. I mean, it takes a while, but of course the payoff is huge. But yes, I mean, we're sitting there thinking, so you think we should be belly to belly. It was kind of one of those like argue with your business coach kind of environments where you're like, are you sure? Like, does this really work? And he really just stuck his ground. I mean, I think Sharper, Eric, Gary and Susan, all of our Sharper coaches to be included, yeah. They have just done such a great job of guiding us, but also kicking us in the pants every quarter. We had them out for an annual just a few weeks ago. And, yeah, we're growing, we're figuring things out. We think we've got, a lot of growth happening in particular areas. Yeah, we're become the experts on this or that. And yet they come in every time and humble us greatly with something similar and basic, fundamental like this. So this was really our launching pad, I would say, in a lot of ways, this slide. So we found this looking back and said, we have to show this because this is where it's started.
You guys can all make sense of this, right? I mean, this all makes sense to you? With all these squiggly lines and highlighters. I asked Eric to simplify it, so he gets out a highlighter and says, I'll highlight in color code. I said, oh, I get it now. Okay, so at the end, we have a deal down here. He's like, yeah, you get a deal. Just keep doing this. I'm like, okay, so.
And as you can see, at the bottom, the fourth quarter rock, we still couldn't figure it out, right? It's just blank. So I don't know what we developed at that point, but at this point, we're probably doing quarterly numbers, or we're doing quarterly numbers now that are now our annual.
Yeah, the reason we show this is, again, going back to perspective and to give, to pay credit where credit is due. A lot of folks in this room and some in the CEO room and some of the leadership team have really, really helped us. And I can't say it enough. I mean, the reason we're here, spending the money we are to be here in the room with 4 of us, away from our families a week before Christmas, right, is to get answers to the questions we had. We had a lot of them. But we really tried to dial it into one thing, which was the sales piece. We had this business built. We've been in business a long time. But going direct to seller, pulling Eric in, using him a quarter over quarter for a year or 2, it really kind of closes the gap. And we want to show you kind of where we're at today using this process.
Yeah, so I think you've seen this chart before. If we've presented before, we've shown where we were coming from, where we are today. We're in the green as of 2025, and then going back to those gray and blue earlier years. What we've been trying to accomplish on the sales end is really trying to smooth out the business between sales and marketing. And you're going to see, as we've grown our team significantly, what we're trying to accomplish here is, can the sales end of the business continue to drive and push and just keep on juicing it with more marketing, and can the operations side of the business catch up, right? And so it's an ever-ending battle of saying, Should we spend more? Should we do more appointments? Because what if we can't inspect that many houses, rehab that many houses, sell off that many houses? So what we're after here is a perfect kind of balance between what can sales push and what can operations fulfill. At this point, we have grown significantly, and this next number, Jeff will kind of lead you through where we are today on an expense category.
Again, this is not to compare it to your number, to our number, to whatever. The reason I wanted to show you this number, this is actually the number. Anybody want to guess what this number is? What is it? No. It's not our PPC budget. It's not our coffee budget. It's not Glenn's bonus. Sorry, bud. No, this is actually the number that it takes, or it will take this year in 2025 to fuel our machine. So this is our actual overhead expense, all expenses included, to include pre-distribution for Kevin and I as owners. But you've got bonuses in there. You've got all the marketing and advertising in there. You've got all the people overhead, which would be our second largest expense. The only reason I show this is because, again, going back to 2022, not knowing what we didn't know, and to show you kind of the growth pattern that we've had, this is a big number. I mean, this is a big number for me. It may not be for you, but to hit $11 million, we're happy to invest that because we have the confidence in what the machine can produce, and because our goal is to grow significantly. If you saw on the maybe slide 3, we are the #1 home buyer in the Chicago metro area by volume, but also by reputation. Eric made a good point with Steve about Google reviews and reputation management and all that. And so again, we're going to talk about the brand and what that means and that moat that we've built. But I wouldn't have sat here 3 or 4 years ago and said, hey, I think our expenses will be $11 million. There's more profit on there. We're still profitable, by the way. There's a little bit of profit in there too, but $11 million. So let's show you where the monies are spent. Yeah, so this picture was taken about a month ago, maybe. Really proud of this. I mean, for those of you who have known us for maybe 4 or 5 years, we had a team of 6, 7, 8, maybe. Now we've got roughly 35-ish people there, continuing to hire. Glenn brings up a new person he wants to hire about every week now. So we've got a lot of ads out there, but it's really good. We've been very, very fortunate, really, really good people. Again, I don't know if anybody on this screen actually has any real estate experience, maybe a few folks. They're your, I guess, just average, really good people. And the cool part about this slide and why I'm really proud of it is that almost all of those people, besides maybe 1 or 2, have come via a referral. So Net Promoter Score, if you guys are familiar with that, it's how likely is someone in your organization willing to go out and refer someone to your organization. Ours is really, really high, in the mid-90s, because our team's like, I got a person, I know a gal, and so we hire our referrals. We hire people we know, and then we methodically show them our process, right? And so we're willing to take time with really good people, which is why our culture is I'm really proud of it. It's a really, really tight culture.
And just to clarify, so we're an all in the office, 100%, on-site workforce. There are some that are out in cars and doing appointments and such. Construction team, like they have vehicles as well. But the expectation is that you're in the office all week. That sets us apart in some ways. I know that some of you have to work virtually, but I just wanted you to know what that means for us. So monthly we get together for our town hall meeting. Who does a town hall meeting in here with your whole team? Like a monthly kind of update.
Can I say something about the town hall?
Yeah, please.
I used to think, and I told Glenn and Kevin and probably Aaron this as well. We have this town hall first Tuesday of every month. I used to honestly think after about a year of doing it, I thought this is kind of a waste. I'm a culture guy. I love the team, very proud of the team. I love to talk. I love to get the family together, so to speak. But I kept thinking, man, it just kind of was dragging on. Glenn kind of spiced it up a little bit and came up with a new agenda. I would say it's probably the highlight of my month now with our team. The amount of sharing that goes on, and we've got a little bit of a format. This last month we talked about, because hope is our purpose statement, is in our purpose statement, we asked, can you provide a hope event that's occurred within your department? The amount of outpouring of hope and stories that came from that, again, so I can't recommend highly enough to do if you can, with your team, in-person town hall, and get them together and let them talk about the business and let them talk about something personal. We for sure blur the lines between personal and professional. One other thing I want to say, because I've had asked a lot of people, or people have asked me a lot about this slide specifically, because we've shown this many years now. We have on there their predictive index profile, behavioral profile, and we've got probably some profiles that wouldn't necessarily match up with the perfect PI for different departmental roles. I would say that's okay. We have found success with the right people that are bought into the purpose, that want to grow and have the desire to work. Work is the key word there, not just have a job. We've had really, really good success with different, you gotta pretty run the gamut here on profiles.
You do. We put this up on the slide for our team for a couple reasons. Number one, we want everyone to know each other's predictive index profile. We feel like every month, if you stare at the screen for 20 minutes while we do a personal check-in, because we'll go around the entire room of the entire company and say, throw out a best business or a best personal for an update. And while they're giving those updates, this is up on the wall. So they are getting monthly updates and reminders of who is my coworker, why do they work a certain way, they hired this person, it's who we have, and learning the predictive index of the team is really an expectation at this point to say, you gotta have grace for your teammates. They are who we have. They're gonna operate in their role a certain way because of who they are. And our team gets better every month, I would say, because of this visibility.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would double down on what Jeff said. There are some personality behavior profiles up here that probably don't match what maybe everyone has as a buzz in the room to say, you gotta hire this person for this role. This is the only one for this role. We've really learned a lot by taking a risk in that situation and saying, I feel like this person is the right person for the business. While they don't fit the profile, I'm gonna hire them anyway. And it's helped us to really grow, especially our sales team, in particular, our inside sales team. We have a lot of specialists that may not fit a social profile that are just crushing it in lead management right now. And it surprised us. And it was because we went with the person for their values and all of that. So we also use the working genius. Jeff, you want to say something about this?
Yeah, this has been great. And honestly, we've got a lot of work to do here. I used an AI tool to put everybody's working genius, so we could kind of color code it. You can kind of see different people's working genius. Who else uses working genius in their business? I would recommend it. They're on sale right now. They always do a year-end sale, I believe. I think it's $25 a license to get your working genius. I would recommend it. At least do it for you. Do it for your significant other. It's pretty interesting. I know it's working genius, but it does show. It does tell you a lot. We've got a lot of room to run here to better understand how to use this. We've also taken this like on the home buying. So our in-person acquisitions home buying specialists, that's the team. So Aaron, in this case, who's sitting in the room, can say, he doesn't have to wonder, or not to play off that word, but wonder why someone's getting frustrated with this type of thing, or this type of work, or this type of, Justin, can you please put it in Salesforce type thing? Everybody has their own working frustration, and so we've done that for every single department, given that to every single department leader. They have an idea as to who they're working with. Again, it's just one of those tools we get to use to continue to build our team, to understand our people better, and they love it, by the way. If you're the team member or the employee, they love kind of understanding how they fit in too, and understanding their working genius. Everyone I send this to says, oh my gosh, I love this. This is amazing. I didn't know this. So it's pretty awesome.
We use the PI, by the way, pre-hire. Then we hire them and they complete the working genius first week of employment, just in case you wanted to know how we use those tools. We are throwing this slide up here like a real estate license from the state of Illinois. We're throwing this up here to just say we really try to avoid hiring people with real estate experience. Yeah. People with industry experience, I would almost say the same thing. I can't even tell you how many people on our team literally have no clue about flipping houses or buying houses, selling houses. And what that allows us to do is train them our way, believe in what we are after. And this next slide, our purpose statement, this was developed out of a Sharper workshop. And they came to us and said, we're moving ahead with your business, but we feel like we need to go back to square one in some respects before you continue to scale and grow, to say, I don't think you guys have enough of a fundamental reason for buying houses.
Yeah, do you guys, who else in the room, by show of hands, has a purpose statement? I would recommend that if you don't know what it is, throw it in the trash and start over, because it doesn't really matter if you don't know what it is. The team should know what it is. So the reason I'll just read it. The Kendall Partners provides hope through a professional and trusted real estate experience. We believe that. That's not just because we didn't use AI. The cool part and the humble brag I would have for Kevin and I as owners, we started the company in 2007. We had this long mission statement that sat on the wall. Probably, maybe you guys have one. And it was great, and it was all true, and no one knew it unless you walked by it and were standing next to it. But yes, you're right. Sharper helped extract this from Glenn and Aaron and Michelle on our team and Toby. And Kevin and I kind of sat back because we knew that our team members, our valued team members, our leadership team knew what the purpose was. They crafted this statement, and I think it's amazing. So we talk about it at every town hall. By the way, this last town hall, we talked about hope for about 2 hours, and we spent about 3 minutes talking about houses. We really don't talk about real estate that often. We do it on a daily when we're buying and selling, but really it's how are we going to provide hope? We can only do that by giving an offer. We can only do that by setting an appointment. We can only do that by coming back around and getting a review. This is what we believe in, and so our entire team is fully bought into this. And this is, I know you use it as part of the hiring tool to say, this is why we do it. So for the right person, this means everything to them.
We sure do. In case you've never seen some of Sharper's tools, by the way, I know I'm giving a Sharper advertisement, but really, this is every single quarter. They sit us down as a team. We think we don't have to do this, but they say, nope, we're doing the fundamentals. And they have every single person on our core team go through here and rate the business, 1, 2, or 3. And you'd be surprised at what our leadership team comes up with. I'm a 3, Jeff's a 3, Kevin's a 3, Aaron's a 1 on something, or Toby throws out a 2, and we're like, all right, interesting. That's real, right? And so, because we all have different perspectives, we all think the business is doing different things. But this exercise is what led us to the purpose statement. It's what continues to drive our marketing, our sales, our operations. And this is the kind of fundamental review, I would say, quarterly, that I think has led us to making this huge shift to a branded approach. It's what drives our sales at this point. And I think I speak for the whole team when I say, we're so glad we made the decision to go branded. Yeah. It has allowed us to have so much credibility and trust in the metro. And so we want to shift now and just talk about this kind of journey of becoming a branded company. It's been over the last 2 or 3 years really digging into this, and it's what our sales team loves, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, you guys all in the room have a company, whatever LLC, or for ours, it's Kendall Partners LTD. Whatever it might be, but I would ask, maybe ask yourself while we're going through this, do I have a brand? And some of you do and some of you don't. I don't mean a logo, I don't mean a website, that is part of branding. But I mean, do you actually have a brand to the market? And does it matter to your marketplace? Whoever you're, in our case, direct-to-seller home buyer, it matters to our seller. We're serving the seller's needs in this case, solving their problems. So the Jeff Buys Your House is clear. At the Kendall Partners, it sounds like a law firm. I'm not a lawyer, and neither is Kevin. So we decided to brand ourselves as Jeff Buys Your House. We made that agreement 3, 4, 5 years ago now. And so this is part of our brand. You can see it's pretty clear, better known, very proud of that, fast, easy, trusted. This is a billboard we have. We've got several of these boards around the Chicago Metro. And then this kind of, the bottom section is really our credibility piece. We are A+ rated. We do have a lot of reviews. We're chasing Phil and Eric right now. So we're trying to beat them on all of that. He said good luck to me. But yeah, we are also going back to their presentation and talking about their moat that they're putting around themselves. I think it's a great analogy because it's something we talk about all the time. How is our brand, how is their brand going to build themselves this moat around the competition? When someone decides to sell their house, might not be now, but it's in 2 years, have we planted a seed, a branded seed in their mind in order to say, I know who I'm calling. I'm calling I Buy ASD. In this case, in Chicagoland, you're calling Jeff Buys Your House. So we've really spent a lot of time, and there's an expense, there's an investment, significant time and investment into this that we're working on.
Just so you know, when I came into the company a couple of years ago, there was a big competitor in the area, Grandview Homes is their name, doing hundreds and hundreds of purchases and flips. When I came in, of course, naive, I know nothing about cash buyer industry. I'm saying, why couldn't we surpass them? Kevin and Jeff, as being owners for 17 years or so in the local market, they're thinking, man, I don't know that we ever could take down Grandview. And I think it's with my naivety that I said, of course we can. Are you kidding me? There's no way that anyone has the team we do. And they're like, oh, okay. I would say when I came in, everyone in Illinois would describe Grandview Homes as the household name. I mean, they would literally describe selling your house cash. The method of doing so was, oh, you mean the Grandview way?
Yeah,
That's how
we
strong.
would describe our company and they'd say, oh, so like Grandview. Anybody else have a competitor like that?
Yep.
They're like, oh, like your competitor, and you're like,
Yeah,
we need to own that.
very tough. So I would say not only was this a big ask of our company to go head to head with the big competitor, but it took a lot of belief from our team. I mean, Aaron sitting over there, our sales manager for Kendall Partners, I mean, he has literally taken on this charge and this mission of saying, could we be number one? I don't know. I mean, he just goes after it and leads this team through this branded approach from unbranded, and it's a huge lift on his part for the team. I also wanted to make sure Jeff had a chance to explain what a big lift it is to do the branded approach. I mean, Jeff is the CEO, he's the face on the billboard. I know that all sounds really fun and exciting, and I'm sure it is for you, Jeff. Do you like it?
Yeah,
He does
mostly.
like it. But I see from the other side, the 3-hour trips in the car downtown Chicago, the prep, the scripts that have to be delivered to him a few days before he does an interview.
The haircut takes a while.
Oh yeah, easily. So I wanted him to talk a little bit about what it's like to be in this kind of forward-facing role.
Thank you. Again, going off the brand part, this is part of the investment that maybe is unseen because, the time is what it takes to build a brand. And again, this is from our experience. If you have a brand in your area, then you know what it means to you and how long it takes. For us, because we're an in-person company, a lot of things on TV, a lot of things on radio, and for those that do this, you know this very well. You can send all this in. You can have it done at your office and then send it into the company, ABC, ESPN, WGN, whatever it is. We've taken the path of choosing to go do it in studio. Number one, to build the relationships with the networks, which it served us in so many different ways I can't even tell you. But there is a significant time component for the ESPN. By the way, we're sponsoring the coin toss for the Chicago Bears, the 10-4 Chicago Bears. So I don't know if you follow that or not. But sponsoring the coin toss is one of those things. It's a branding thing. We're hitching our brand to a much larger brand. By the way, if you know Chicago football, people have been talking about the Chicago Bears Super Bowl that happened in 1985, since 1985. This is all we talk about. So now that we're actually got a good season, it's kind of a thing. But doing all these things, I was able to take my boys down with me in that lower picture, and they had some fun too. But there's a significant time investment into building your brand, to building a relationship. You do it once, then you do it twice, and it becomes a little bit of a routine. But I take it serious to represent our company, to make sure that the messaging is right. It's like, what do we want to say now? Do we want to say the same thing every time, or we want to come up with a different message? Now it's cold in Chicago. It's like 20 below. So now we're saying, hey, we're still buying houses, right? We're still able to do this. If it's cold, we'll still come out and visit you. But there's significant time behind that, money behind that, and a strategy to say what network is right, what's not right, where should we place our ads. I know Eric and Steve talked about a little bit of this, but radio, we do radio, a lot of TV, a lot of radio. And the branding part is there's a significant financial investment behind that, but a strategy for our growth for sure.
Another investment was just getting this fleet of cars out there on the road. This is what our acquisitions team drives to appointments. If you're not doing a big branded approach to appointments, you might say, man, why would you ever want to do this? And what does that really get you? So this car shows up. This car is in the commercial, right? So we want to make sure that what they see on TV is really going to happen. That TV, the white car comes out, but then a red Chevy comes and the acquisition manager jumps out. I want to make sure that the uniformity is there. Interestingly enough, I just saw this Facebook post a few days ago. This was December 5th, but Franklin Graham with Samaritan's Purse Ministry talking about decommissioning this plane that they've used for years with Samaritan's Purse. Who knows what Samaritan's Purse is, by the way? This is like the shoe boxes that get delivered at Christmas time. Funny enough, my son actually works in the Samaritan's Purse warehouse in Chicago at Christmas time here. So it's just funny timing. But he says in this post, the power of this plane flying to the countries that they're going to deliver these shoe boxes, and how emotional it is to retire this plane because of how much hope has been delivered with this one single airplane. And I was like, man, that's crazy, man. They're using the word hope like us and the white plane. And I'm like, it just makes you really think through how much expectation does your seller have on TV, and then what do they want showing up at the doorstep? And so we just continue to try to invest that and make sure that it is what is best for the seller, to include our website. We had a very long discussion earlier this year about offers. This was actually probably a year-long discussion and resulted in Q1 us saying, do we want to just ever have the company go to a philosophy where we just offer 100% of the time? No sales tactics, no nothing. It's like they go to the website, they click on the pink button, they enter their information after, they get all this messaging, texting, phone call, and then we go to the house and we don't leave them an offer.
By the way, we are 100% inbound traffic. We don't do any outbounds. People are finding us and they're asking us to come out. So just think about this for a second. Yep. We're saying, should we not leave an offer? Have you ever been in a situation where the seller wants $419,000 and not a penny less, but your offer that you came up with is like $280? Anybody else ever been there? And you're like, I don't know if we're going to leave it. I don't know if it's going to impact our brand. I don't know what they're going to say about us once we leave. They're not going to accept it. And so we decided as a company, we're saying we came up with a $280,000 offer for this house. This is after a long conversation. By the way, we booked 2-hour appointments. We spent Aaron can tell you better, but we spent about 90 minutes talking to the folks about where they want to be and what stands between now and their future, right? And then we talked a little bit about the house too. Of course, we do a walkthrough and do kind of our inspection, but it's a lot less about the house and more about their situation. And we're saying, could we ever provide these folks hope if we didn't give them the offer? That's our purpose statement. And by the way, they called us to come out. Could we ever follow up on an offer we didn't give? Eric kind of taught us that. He's like, I just don't know how it's possible. How could you ever, oh yeah, I want to call you back on that offer we didn't give you. Come on. So we're saying we leave you with $280,000 and here's why. And we'll justify it and we'll show them and all these things. I don't know that it's impacted our brand one bit. We might have a few negative reviews. We've had a few things we've dropped the ball on. But I'm just saying for our organization, we've made the decision. You've called us for an offer. We've taken the time to book probably about a $2,000 appointment to come out and visit you in person in our branded vehicle. They look dressed like Glenn, to show up, to sit in your house with all your cats and you smoking 3 cigarettes, right? For us to say, we're not gonna leave you the offer because we think we're gonna outsmart you. That might be your position, but we're saying we're gonna leave you an offer, and we'll show you how that's impacted.
So for Aaron as the sales manager, he is liking this at this point because the rule is 100%. That's a lot easier for him to hold his team accountable at 100 versus maybe when this is the situation versus this. So I know he's enjoyed the accountability here and he's great at it. One of the tools that he uses is a quarterly ride and refine program. He's implemented this probably halfway through last year. So our guys, they watch each other and assess each other on appointments. They'll show up to Tom's appointment and just follow him around the house, and they score each other using this rubric that Aaron created on Google Forms. It gets the feedback right back to the team. He brings the guys out for an awesome little breakfast to kind of celebrate the fact that they finished this assessment program, and then they go over the results. What did we learn? What do we need to do better in the future? Who wants to pair up with who for next quarter? And the guys are just behind it. So I can't say enough about Aaron's leadership over the sales department, his willingness to hold his team accountable, and to also align with the expectations of the sales funnel.
So we got a few things we're going to fly through here in the spirit of time. So again, going back to the data and the technology side. So we've taken this data and technology approach. Some of that big number that I showed you, the big number to us, that $10 million number, goes to paying highly qualified people on our team to do stuff that I don't know how to do. And so they do, and we build a lot of technology. We build a lot of our own software. We've got our own engineers on staff. We've taken that approach to say, how can we, using technology, solve some of our problems? This is a toolkit that we've built, and you can see some of the tools that we've put together. We won't go through all of them with you, One of those tools is an availability calendar. Again, we got to fly through some of these, but basically, again, this is a way to show how we've used efficiency and technology to present a better sales process to our team, effectively buying more houses. So this actually looks at their calendar, all acquisitions managers' calendar, looks at where they're at based on their geography, because we track all their vehicles. So in real time, we'll know who's the closest to the appointment. This right here has taken our team to the next level. Just this one tool that our lead managers inside can book now an appointment saying, Tom's the closest, or Justin's the closest, or oh, Kurt's off today type thing. And it's just been amazing.
Yeah, we use a tracker system to see where all of our guys are at any given time. If you have vehicles out on the road, I don't care if it's 3 or 4, when we have like 10 or 11 now, I'd highly recommend Optimus trackers. It gives Aaron the ability to say, oh, Tom's here. All right, your appointment got canceled. All right, well, maybe send this guy over here. Same thing on the opposite side of the business. Hey, we have a basement taking on water. Our inspector, Andy, is closest. You go. It just cuts down on a lot of communication. So kind of leveraging technology.
This is California. So basements are the thing below the house.
Yeah.
You get to walk down.
Dig them.
It's concrete everywhere. It's California. They don't know this. Anyway, they're kind of fun. You can put the kids down there, shut the door. You have no clue what's going on. It's
Yep.
awesome.
We're using technology to map our inspections, our operations, our sales guys throughout the entire metro. So this links up to Salesforce, Company Cam, shows a lot of transparency for the entire team and management back at the office. We've got one that helps with transaction coordination. So this is like a drag and drop type situation. You can take a file and drag it onto the screen on a particular property, and then it will auto-save using AI with naming conventions, helping our TC team be very organized and be very quick with their actions on the computer. The biggest win was building some of these capacity calendars. So this is a purchase closing calendar. This is linked to Salesforce with dates, et cetera. But this helps us on the appointment. Aaron's guys can look ahead and say, okay, it looks like January week 1, we have 1 closing on Wednesday. So I'm gonna book your closing on the contract on Wednesday to avoid stacking up closings for our TC team. This has been a game changer for closings, because how many times do you accidentally write the same closing date? Now your TC team is like, really? 17 closings on one day? Like, that's ridiculous. So, and it could happen where you're aiming for the end of the month or the end of a week. So we just control that through capacity calendars. And then same on the rehab. We've developed this rehab calendar to say, if we go over 35 rehabs at a time, it turns red. And so now I know I'm gonna probably wanna double close some properties in the future on the dispo side to help our rehab team keep their timelines. We also can track millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars in rehab per day, which helps us not go over our capacity on the rehab spend. So all to say, we've been really investing in technology to help fulfill the sales end, of course. There's Jeff.
Yeah, so next year at this time, our goal for 2026 would be to buy 500 houses, to sell 500 houses, 1,000 transactions. Yes, I had AI generate this. Kevin reminded me that I have to do lots of more pull-ups to be able to have guns like that, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna work on it. So we showed this to our entire team at the town hall. We had a big kick out of that. Everyone on our team is fired up to continue to grow. They're excited, they're confident. They love the technology because, again, it helps them out. It smooths out their jobs. So really excited about next year. So the company board, we're gonna fly through these last few slides here to finish up. So we use Plecto. Anybody else use Plecto in here? Yeah, I would say it's one of those tools that if you've got a team and organization that likes to see dashboards, if you like to gamify anything, I know Eric talked about in the last, just a minute ago, about the gamification around that. You can use Plecto for that. We use this to display lots of different things. So this is we took this probably a few days ago, but you can kind of see where we're at. Again, this is our company, not yours, so this could be high, low, whatever, but this is where we're at. You can see in the light gray in the contracts, purchases, and sales, kind of the goal for the year. So we have overperformed significantly over the goal, which is significant overperformance from last year. Again, if you remember my slide from 2022, you can see the growth over just 2 or 3, 4 years.
This is just an acquisitions board that Aaron uses to help manage his team, so he can see contracts per guy, of course, revenue per deal. He's helping the team stay accountable throughout the year. A couple of other tools that we like to use, and for Aaron's individual meetings with each of his reps, this is an individual board for TK, so Tom Knickerbocker. He can look at how many opportunities he has in his pipeline. Aaron, as the sales manager, is like hitting that opportunity owned number and saying, you only get a certain number. So after, I can't remember how much it is, 25 or so, he's saying, nope, goes back to lead management. Closing percentage, profit per deal, of course. And then lead management has their own boards, of course, too. This one in particular, this is a lead manager individual board. Some of the things we've done with technology here, if you look over to like the top kind of third of the page, you'll see Kong mirroring and Kong patients. What we did with that was we were using Gong.
Who else has Kong?
Kong or Gong?
Kong. Nobody else has Kong, right? Oh, it's our tool. We built that.
So we liked Gong. There was a lot of functionality that we didn't use, honestly. It's a great tool, but we said, could we rebuild it with just the features that we use? And so in-house, we developed with ChatGPT and some API connections, a very similar set of tools. So now we have our patient score, which is how much they're willing to wait on the conversation. The mirroring is the speed of the words of the seller compared to the speed of the words of the person on the phone. A talk ratio percentage, and then the AI tool scores them based on our script and what we want to get out of the phone call. So just in summary, we've got some things to hit here. We really do focus on hiring people, not resumes or real estate experience. We follow a disciplined, repeatable, people-first sales process. We are very, very dedicated to underwriting and data at this point, technology, of course, as well. And the brand has definitely amplified the trust to Chicago. I think I speak for Rapid Fire guys because you did a presentation on this last time, but the approach from going unbranded, dabbling with brand, and now a couple years later, it's just been the right investment for our
But
company.
it's if that's the path you want to go, it's certainly a commitment. I know Eric was talking about that a minute ago. I know that they've helped us, by the way. I've had a lot of these questions. Eric and Phil were really, really critical, 2 or 3 years ago for us as we were going through this as well. But it's a decision. It really is a decision, whether you want to be a branded company or you just want to be a company. And that's okay. It's up to you how you want to do it. To me, after going through this is all I wanted to say at the end was the challenge is, what kind of business are you building? I think you should ask yourself, what kind of business do you have now and what do you want for the future? Whether that's the 1 year, the 5 year, whatever, however far you want to look out. I really think you should decide. You got a business partner, you should be in alignment on that. And hopefully your team knows what you're building. And then what do you want your company to be known for? We want to be known for the speed and the trust and the high integrity and the hope that we bring and the compassion. I know at the end of the day, we're effectively buying someone's home, someone's house, and then we're going to resell the house. That's our business model. But all the stuff we deal with in between to provide them hope, it's pretty amazing. If you have any questions about that, just go read our reviews. We don't ask people what to say. They just leave a review and they tell stories. It's pretty amazing. It's really impactful. Our team is fully bought into it. By the way, it makes the hiring process that much easier. When you find really, really good people that are bought into it, when you don't even talk about the house buying business, house selling business. But again, it's a branded approach. There's a significant investment in time and money to do that. And that's just been our take. And we wanted to show that journey from 2022 until now. We've got huge goals to buy 1,000 houses here in the next few years by 2030. We think we can do that in our market with our brand, with our team as we continue to grow. Glenn's going to want to hire probably not 25 people, I'm sure, to do that. But yeah, we're just wanted to say thank you for the ones that have helped us get here and to where we're going. The CG community has been awesome. Can't say it enough. We've been in, I think, 5 years now, and a lot of names that I won't mention have just been very, very integral and helpful. So the people are here. The answers you need are right here in this room. We can help. There's somebody down the road that can help, but ask for it, and then stop looking at all the crap on the sides. Just do the thing. Medley keeps saying Jeff will win by just doing the boring crap the longest. We'll just outlast everybody just because we're boring. We like being boring. We've got pretty good numbers. The team's really proud of it, and we're going to keep going. So that's it.